Welcome back. I'm Rick, and today in this course we're going to explore a powerful new dimension of agility prompt engineering. Think of this as a toolkit for you and your team to collaborate with AI, not just as a simple search engine, but as a dynamic partner. Just as agile methodologies transform software development, prompt engineering is set to transform how we innovate, solve problems, and deliver value. We'll look at how every role, from product owner to developer, can use these techniques to work smarter and faster, turning AI into a true member of your team. So, what exactly is prompt engineering? At its heart, it's the art of effective communication with AI. It's about moving beyond simple questions to crafting precise instructions that guide a large language model to produce exactly what you need. Think of it like being a director, not just an audience member. You're not just watching the AI perform, you're guiding it to give a standout performance. The goal is to make your interactions with AI more reliable, more relevant, and ultimately, more useful in your daily agile work. Here's a roadmap of where we're headed. We'll start with the core techniques, from zero-shot learning, where the AI works from a blank slate, to few-shot and many-shot learning, where we teach it with examples. We'll then move into more advanced strategies like chain of thought prompting for complex reasoning, and explore how to fine-tune the AI's creativity. We'll also cover the critical responsibility of crafting ethical prompts and how to build structured templates to streamline your workflows. By the end, you'll have a full palette of techniques to experiment with and evolve your own prompting style. Let's dive in with zero-shot learning. This is the most basic, yet surprisingly powerful, way to interact with an AI. It simply means giving the model a task with no examples at all, just a clear, descriptive instruction. Why does this matter? Because it's the ultimate test of the model's built-in knowledge. For a product owner, this could mean prompting the AI to generate user story ideas for a password reset feature, and it will tap into its understanding of what a good user story looks like. For a Scrum Master, it's like having a brainstorming partner that's read countless books on team dynamics. It's your starting point for exploration, a way to quickly generate ideas based on the AI's vast, general knowledge. Now, as we move through these concepts, you'll notice we're building a foundation. This visual simply represents the idea that from that initial zero-shot starting point, we're going to add layers of complexity and control. We're moving from the AI's general knowledge to more guided, specific, and powerful interactions. Think of it as moving from asking a colleague a vague question to giving them a clear brief with great examples. That's where we're headed next. Next up is few-shot learning. If zero-shot is like giving the AI a blank canvas, few-shot is like giving it a few reference photos to work from. You provide a small set of examples to show the AI exactly the kind of output you're looking for. For a development team, instead of just asking for code for a login function, you could provide 3 examples of how you've structured similar functions in the past with your preferred error handling and comments. The AI then uses those examples to write new code in the same style. It's a powerful way to quickly adapt the AI to your team's specific context and standards with very little effort. So, what does this look like in practice? Let's make it concrete. For a product owner, a few-shot prompt might be based on these 3 user feedback excerpts of paste excerpts. Suggest new features for our mobile app. You're giving the AI the few shots, the examples of feedback, to guide its suggestions. A Scrum Master could provide examples of recent sprint challenges and ask the AI to suggest improvement actions. The key is that you're not just asking a generic question, you're grounding the AI in your specific reality with just a handful of relevant examples, which dramatically improves the usefulness of its response. Building on this idea, we have many-shot learning. As the name implies, this involves providing the AI with a large number of examples, dozens or even hundreds. The goal here is refinement. You're moving from quick adaptation to deep, nuanced understanding. For a product owner, this could mean feeding the AI years of past user stories and acceptance criteria. The AI can then learn your specific format, your team's language, and the subtle patterns that make a story clear and actionable. It's like training a new team member by having them study our entire project history before they write their first line of code. Let's look at the scale we're talking about with many-shot learning. The prompts here become rich with data. For a product owner, you might provide comprehensive user feedback collected over the past 2 years, including detailed surveys and forum discussions, feedback 1 to 50 heat. You're asking the AI to synthesize a massive amount of information to identify innovation areas. For a development team, the prompt could include detailed bug report 1-200T to help them create a more robust testing framework. The AI isn't just guessing, it's finding patterns across hundreds of data points to inform its recommendations, leading to insights you might have missed. Now, let's talk about tackling complex problems with chain of thought prompting. This technique is about guiding the AI to show its work. Instead of just asking for an answer, you ask it to reason step by step, mimicking how a human would approach a difficult decision. This is incredibly valuable in agile roles where decisions have many dependencies. For example, a product owner needs to prioritize a backlog, not just by value, but by risk, dependencies, and team capacity. Chain of thought prompts the AI to walk through each of those factors, making its final suggestion far more transparent and trustworthy. Here's how you structure a chain of thought prompt. For a Scrum Master, instead of asking how do we fix sprint overload, you'd ask something like, considering the team's feedback that the sprint pace is too fast, describe the steps we should take to reassess our planning process, adjust workloads, and improve morale. You're literally asking for the steps. Then, you can follow up with another question that builds on that reasoning, like, what specific measures can we implement to monitor and maintain this improved pace? This turns a simple Q&A into a collaborative problem-solving session where the AI's logic is laid out for you to examine and build upon. As we integrate AI more deeply into our work, we must also consider the ethical dimension. This isn't just a nice to have, it's a core responsibility. Crafting ethical prompts means deliberately guiding AI interactions to uphold values like fairness, privacy, and transparency. For a product owner, this means asking not just can we collect this user data, but what are the ethical implications of collecting this data? And how do we ensure user consent and prevent bias? It's about building products that are not only functional, but also responsible and trustworthy. So, what does an ethical prompt sound like? For a product owner, it might be, given our product's diverse user base, identify potential biases in our current feature set and suggest inclusive improvements. You're explicitly asking the AI to look for bias. For a development team, a powerful prompt is, analyze the potential ethical implications of the data collection methods used in our new feature. Propose alternatives that respect user privacy. This moves the conversation from can we do this to should we do this and how can we do it better. It builds ethical considerations directly into your development process. To make these techniques repeatable and reliable, we can use structured prompt templates. Think of these as blueprints for your prompts. They provide a consistent framework that guides the AI and, just as importantly, guides your own thinking. By using a template, you ensure you haven't forgotten a key element, like the desired format or the specific context. This is a game changer for streamlining agile processes, allowing any team member to get high, quality results from the AI without having to start from scratch every single time. Let's look at some of these template frameworks. First, for goal orientation, we have SMART goals applied to prompts, making them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Then there's RTF role task format. This is a simple but powerful way to structure a prompt, like saying, act as a product owner role. Create a list of acceptance criteria task in a bulleted list here format. For decision making, we have frameworks like PIK, problem, implication, cause, action. Using PK, you'd structure a prompt to first define the problem, then explore its implications, identify the cause, and finally propose actions. For improving workflows, the IDEA framework is excellent. Identify, define, explore, assess. You might ask the AI to identify bottlenecks in our deployment process, define their impact, explore potential solutions, and assess the trade-offs of each. This leads to a comprehensive analysis. And for communication, the BA framework, before-after bridge, is fantastic. You describe the before state, the desired after state, and then ask the AI to propose the bridge, the steps to get from one to the other. This is perfect for framing change initiatives to a team. Finally, for generating deep insights, we have frameworks like care context, action result, example. This prompts the AI to provide a full picture. For instance, given the context of a recent drop in user engagement context, what actions could we take sheer action? What results might we expect here result? And can you give an example of a company that did this successfully example? These templates aren't rigid rules, they're thinking tools. They help you structure your requests to get richer, more complete, and more actionable responses from the AI. Another key technique is aligning with the model's language. This is about meeting the AI on its own ground. LLMs are trained on vast amounts of text, and they've learned patterns, terminology, and styles. By crafting prompts that use clear, precise language, especially technical terms the model is familiar with, you can significantly improve the accuracy of its responses. For a developer, This means using the exact names of programming concepts, libraries, or frameworks. You're essentially speaking the model's language to get the most relevant and expert answer. Here's what alignment looks like in practice. For a Scrum Master, instead of a vague prompt like help with remote teams, an aligned prompt would be suggest effective communication strategies for remote teams, including tools and practices that support asynchronous work. You're using the precise term asynchronous work, which the AI deeply understands. For a developer, instead of how do I connect to a payment thing, an aligned prompt is show examples of REST API integration code for a payment service in Python, using best practices for error handling. The more you use the specific language of your domain, the more the AI can act like a true expert in that domain. Now, a crucial mindset for all of this feedback loops. Prompt engineering is rarely a one and done activity. It's an iterative process. You start with a prompt, review the AI's response, identify what could be better, and then refine your prompt. This back and forth creates a dynamic conversation that owns in on the perfect output. Think of it like pair programming or refining a user story through conversation. You're not just accepting the first answer, you're collaborating with the AI to get to the best answer. Let's walk through that cycle. A development team might start with an initial prompt, create test cases for validating user input on a sign-up form. The AI's response is good, but basic. The team then provides feedback for refinement, include test cases for cross-field validation and international phone number formats. With that feedback, they create a refined prompt T. Develop comprehensive test cases for a sign-up form that include cross-field validation and support for international phone numbers. The second response will be far more thorough and useful. This simple cycle of prompt, review, refine, and repeat is the engine of effective prompt engineering. Finally, let's look under the hood at how to control the AI's creative temperature. Most large language models have settings that allow you to fine-tune their output. The most common are temperature and top P. Temperature controls the randomness. A low temperature makes the AI more focused and predictable, always choosing the most likely next word. A high temperature makes it more creative and surprising, taking more risks. Top P works alongside this, controlling the diversity of the words the model considers. These settings give you a dial to turn creativity up or down as needed. So, when would you use these dials? For a product owner brainstorming the next big thing, you'd want high creativity. You might ask, imagine futuristic app features that could revolutionize user engagement, with a high temperature setting to get wild, out of the box ideas. But when it's time to plan the next sprint, you turn the temperature down. You'd ask for practical, immediately implementable features, with a low temperature to get precise, actionable, and reliable suggestions. You have the power to tell the AI, be creative for brainstorming sessions and be precise for execution. It's the best of both worlds. We've covered a lot of ground, from zero-shot learning to fine-tuning creativity. The key takeaway is that prompt engineering is a skill, and like any skill, it's developed through practice. The path to mastery is simple: embrace, experiment, and evolve. Embrace the possibilities these tools offer. Experiment relentlessly. Try different techniques, templates, and temperatures. And let your learnings evolve your approach. Your journey with AI is not just about adapting to change, it's about leading it. So go ahead, start a conversation with your new AI teammate, and see what you can build together. Thank you for joining me on this journey into prompt engineering for Agile teams. I hope you're leaving with practical techniques you can apply immediately. If you'd like to learn more, explore further resources, or discuss how to bring this training to your organization, please reach out. You can find us at agilea.com. Happy prompting!